taking a moment to slow down. Opening up my inner space. Slowly retrieving my attention and my identification with the objects, the experience. Breathing deeply. Taking a moment to reduce my level of attachment and identification, even with the objects of my mind, my psychology, let's say. Breathing deeply. I am not my psychology. As I continue to breathe deeply, I continue retrieving myself. Directing my sense of identification back to the self, to the I am. As I breathe deeply, try to maintain the centeredness. We begin the movement to charge the lower dantian. Breathing in. You can perform this movement as you like, at the speed you like, both hands together, one hand at a time, as you prefer. As I am charging my vehicle, activating my energy body, maintain myself operating at this level of self. This self that I am is charging itself. The more I activate my energy bodies, the more I can tune into, perceive, feel this level of my being. That some refer to as the higher self. What we call the higher self can be directly experienced. To different degrees. To a lesser or a greater degree. It is our interest in the practice to intensify our direct experience, our direct contact with what we call the higher self. And so we look for it, we search for it actively. And we know that we are getting closer, that we are intensifying our direct experience of ourselves by the sense of resonance it generates in us. Exploring the open space, exploring the sense of I exist before my stories, my psychology. I can know when I'm getting closer to it because I feel like getting to a level that feels more truly me, more originally me. A me, an I that is more expanded, more free. More durable. The self that is already always present. That enables all my experiences. You can also call it that part of me that has the power to know, to perceive, to experience. The subject that is experiencing the objects. Continuing to charge my bodies, activating my energy bodies. More power, more energy. As I connect to explore a sense of self that transcends, that is bigger than the normal self that I identify with, usually. This sense of self, together with the activation of your energy bodies, can also come together with a feeling of everything is possible. Of greater potential, greater access. Greater intelligence. Charging, activating. While I am moving, charging, I am like activating a dynamo. I am exciting, activating, energizing all the energy in my field. From here, feel free to include any movement that you feel like that helps you to activate and expand your energy field more. We just try to activate, to make it vibrate stronger. Exploring myself as this energy field. For this level of the work, it can be useful to imagine myself as energy. I am energy. expanding this field. Whenever I can observe, individuate limiting factors occurring from my psychology, I simply label them as not me. I am not defined. I am not limited by the assumptions, the beliefs, the voice of my psychology. Continuing to gather energy to activate the field, connecting with the feeling of power, strength, possibility, infinite resourcefulness. Strong, rooted, stable. Rooted into the I am. That logically is impermeable. Doesn't matter how much the mind may try to limit, it cannot ever possibly limit the I am. As the mind itself happens on top of the I am. Any thoughts of the mind is after, is later than the I am. What I am is before any thought's definition. Therefore, essentially, untouchable by them. Let's continue to gather this energy for a few breaths at the maximum intensity that is possible for us, imagining the maximum intensity of energy, power, charge in our body, in our center, in our system. A few more breaths. Charging maximum amount possible for you. And one more breath. And regardless of how you're moving, slowly we bring the hands back down to the lower dantian. Breathing deeply. Take a few moments to relax, still feeling your lower dantian and your breath. So transcending the limitations that arise from our psychology is part of our practice, is our practice every day, continuously. So that the mind and its structure may serve its purpose of supporting, of serving the I am in its expression in this level of reality. But not limit the I am. The practice of increasingly exploring the vastness of the I am and identifying myself with it is our practice. So you may ask, if I'm not following what my psychology is telling me, what am I following? So in our practice, we want to develop the ability to listen to, let's say, the desires of the I am through intuition, through the emotional system, through our energy body. We already spoke many times on how to do that by simply observing the degree of resonance or not resonance a certain idea, thought, choice, action, place, person has with us. Yeah, and how to use this sense of resonance or not resonance to guide us. Our psychology, which is very spoiled, very afraid to move outside of its comfort zone, is what limits us to explore our greatest excitement, our greatest realization, our greatest fulfillment. At least it seems like this. So in the next part of the practice, I would like to invite you to scan our mental body construction, beliefs, And as we have done many times, try to observe which one of the thoughts or construction we have in our mind is particularly limitant. Again, we can individuate that it's limitant because it feels bad, it feels shitty, it feels limiting. And remembering the fact that I am not my psychology, we want to try to release this belief, this idea, and connect to the more open attitude that we can access when we release this idea. So we will do a movement as we will do this exercise. This will be to bring down, because the idea is we want to bring down the energy of whatever thing we find in our mental field or emotional field, release it into the earth. And so at first, we begin by taking our time to explore our thoughts, beliefs, and especially the ones that create the greatest discomfort, limitation in me lately, in this moment of my life. Explore, look for them, the thoughts, ideas, constructions that feels the worst thoughts that I have in my mind. Breathing deeply, we allow these thoughts to come out, to come up, to emerge, to show their ugly faces. Still being calm and peaceful and relaxed. Always, the voice of the mind mask themselves as coherent, reasonable arguments. All my limiting ideas that I have about myself and about the world seem reasonable. They mask themselves as reasonable so that they can stay. They basically convince me, let's say. If we observe deeply, it becomes evident that to an honest self-observation, these limiting thoughts about myself cannot be reasonable. Whichever limiting attribute that a part of me is trying to make me believe that I am, can never be what I am, because what I am is before any attribute. It's what enables any attribute to be. The consciousness. In my own putting myself down, in my own limiting myself, victimizing myself. In my own finding excuses not to do what I really more deeply resonates for me to do. They seem reasonable, but if I look deeper, it becomes obvious that they are more out of fear, out of emotion. For example, fear of trying and failing, fear of discomfort, of challenge. If I look honestly, dropping these beliefs becomes actually the most correct, obviously correct choice to do. If I were to give a sincere advice to myself, as I would give it to another person I really care about, what would I tell myself to think, to believe, to do? This is cultivating honesty with oneself. What do I honestly want? In which way do I honestly want to express? Gathering all our power, we release the greatest amount of limiting attitude, charge, weight from our field. Releasing it into the ground. So that we may vibrate at a more expanded, more true level of myself. So that I can express more of this great unlimited energy being that I am. Without fear, without excuses. Without fear of mistakes or rejections, which are necessary for any exploration, for any growth, for any expansion. I'm up for the challenge. I'm up for the life. I'm up for becoming more unlimited. I'm up for it. Repeating the movement a few more times. If you have changed the movement, it's okay. Rooting myself in my center. In this power, in this strength. To not just follow blindly whatever our psychology cries for. Expressing the desire to follow our true excitement, desire, what truly feels correct, resonance, meaningful for us, even if it takes effort or sacrifices. That depends entirely on me. That's choice. My free will, it's mine, only if I actively decide to use it. Otherwise, I have no free will. Few more breaths. Slowly we come back down to the Dantian again. And finally, let's stand a little bit in the static pillar around the Dantian. Relaxing in the posture. Breathing deeply. Quietly relaxing myself. Resting in the center. Falling into the center. Becoming quiet and peaceful. Free and unrestricted. Practicing my ability to rest. To discover the true pleasure of rest. The true rest. That I normally don't give myself the space for. I wish to open the space for true rest, to truly nourish, recover myself, my energy. Letting go, relaxing, falling into the rest. Taking a few more breaths in this position of accumulation, of restoration, of recovery, of care. Of being with myself. And slowly I'll bring my hands back again to the lower dantian. And let's go with the closure. Massaging the abdomen, sweetly, calmly. And change the side. And finally, let's pass to the massage. The feet together. Relaxing for a moment. Breathing deeply. myself, with sincerity with myself. To cut the bullshit. To cut the lies I tell myself. To stay comfortable. This is practice. And so with a lot of love and gratitude, for the universe, for the life, humbly, we close the space of practice.